Hello everyone and welcome back to Conan Exiles Age of War. This will be episode 2 of our little mini guide series taking a look into the different, or certainly some of the different factions or tribes that you can get throughout Conan Exiles. We took a look at the first set in episode 1, so if you haven't seen that, do go back and check that one out. That will also be available on the channel. And in this one, we're kind of moving around the map a little bit more, where we're going to take a look at some different ones, where we're going to take a look at the Cimmerians, the Nordheimers, the Lemurians from the jungle, and some of the votaries that you can get from the volcano. And there are some various different tier 4 people once again that I've kind of chosen, plus a couple of extras which we'll also take a look at. So let's jump into it right now. Okay then, so if we take a look at our first faction or tribe, this is the Cimmerians, and these people can be found up in the highlands over to the west side of the map in this sort of grey, sort of brown area all around here, especially around this area which is known as Mounds of the Dead, which is where you can come to also get various crafters, your guaranteed berserker spawn, which I'll show you at the end of this video, and there are a couple of spawn points for Delincia Snow Hunter, who we will also come to shortly. And if we take a look at these guys, these will all come in male and female. Typically these will be wearing the Cimmerian Steel, which is a heavy armour, so it's a full vitality health set this, so you'll get a bonus to health from each piece if you're using it or your followers will. So if we take a look at our fighter 1, he comes with 2 in strength, 0 in agility, 3 in vitality, 0 in grit, and a base health of 1304, which is slightly more than previous tribes that we've had a look at, so a really okay one to use. And then we go up to this young lady here, still wearing the same armour again. This is the fighter 2, and it can also be a male, and they come with 3 in strength, 0 agility, 7 in vitality this time, and 0 grit, and a base health of 1572. Now if you also watch another great YouTuber called Angar, another gentleman from the UK, he has done various videos and mentions quite a lot in his. If you want to get star metal sort of early to mid game really easy without having to go up in the snow, if you go up to the Mounds of the Dead, which is this area here as we say, and you set up a friendship wheel and you use your follower and your own friendship stick or the purple lotus orbs to knock out the fighter 1s and 2s. You could possibly try with the 3s if you run into them, but these people from there, the Cimmerians, they will typically spawn with star metal weapons, and that can either be a two-handed sword, a one-handed sword, or an axe, or a shield and weapon of some sort, and they will be star metal. You can put these guys in the Wheel of Friendship, make them become your friends, place them down, take their weapons off them, send them off to the happy place where the Shellbacks and everybody else are, and then dismantle their star metal weapons on a dismantling bench to get star metal really easy. So if you think that's interesting and you think that's useful, try it out. It definitely is worthwhile doing. Just be careful because these are quite high tier and these guys do hit quite hard. And then our final one, this is a fighter 3. He or she will typically also spawn in the Cimmerian Steel, but I've just put them in the Cimmerian Fur, which is the medium version, just to give you an example of what that looks like, so that you know what to look out for in game. A lot of the archers will spawn with this, and again male and female, and they come with 7 in strength, 0 agility, 15 in grit, 15 in vitality, so double what the fighter 2 has, and 0 in grit, and they have 1866 base health. So out of all the fighter 3s so far, these are probably one of the strongest. I say one of because is another one that is quite strong as well, but that's with these ones. And if you know the game quite well already, you'll know who I'm about to take a look at now, or if you don't, there are spawn points in the Mountains of the Dead also, where this young lady can spawn. Delancey Snow Hunter. She is a tier 4 named fighter, and she will typically spawn in the Cimmerian Fur. The reason why she has the course top on for YouTube is because, believe it or not, in game she does actually spawn topless, so you'll literally see her just in the fur bottoms of the boots and the gloves. Normally she will be topless, but obviously we want to keep this friendly for YouTube. But she has a few spawn points up at Mountains of the Dead, so she's another great fighter and a personal favourite of mine and a few other people I know. They all say that she's brilliant. She's definitely on par with the Berserkers, if not slightly better. I would choose a Delancey any day personally. So she's a really good one to get from the Mountains of the Dead. I'll show you at the end of this video roughly where she can spawn and whereabouts the Mountains of the Dead is and what some different areas are. So that is the Cimmerians. Now I'm going to skip past these a moment because I actually realised after I'd placed them all, when you look at the health pools, and you'll see in a moment, these guys, the Lemurians, are probably like the next ones up health wise to these ones, which are the Nordheimers. So we're going to come back to those, but we're going to go to these guys here, the Lemurians, and they are one of the tribes again who typically can be found around here, all in the jungle. The Lemurians, they're from the jungle area, and typically from what I've seen when I've been over there, any of the fighters or anybody that's spawned I've just seen in the light armour. Probably could have different outfits as well. There is also a tier 4 that I found that can spawn over there, another good fighter. Possibly our others, but use that one for this video. So our Lemurian Fighter 1 comes with 2 in strength, 0 agility, 0 vitality and 1 in grit, and a starting health of 450, so pretty squishy. If we come back over to our Berserker, already a lot higher health, so the Lemurians typically would kind of come in with your Defari and Dogs of the Desert sort of area, and then you'd start jumping up to your Relic Hunters, not the Relic Hunter Treasure Seekers, but the Relic Hunters that spawn in Separate that we mentioned last time, and then your Cimmerians and your Votaries, and obviously your Nordheimers are kind of your higher tier. So this is our Fighter 2, and as we can see again, 7 in strength, 0 agility, 0 vitality and 3 in grit. So these guys come with a little bit more armour than they do vitality, so probably very squishy. There isn't really anyone from these that I would choose to ever use, to be honest, but it's personal choice. And our guy at the back here, number 3, 15 in strength, 0 agility, 0 vitality and 7 in grit. So these are more armour focused, so you definitely want health focused armour for these guys. And one of the tier 4s that I found is this young lady. As you can see, she comes with 20 in her strength, 0 agility, but she also comes with 10 in vitality and 15 in grit, so she has the best grit, but she does come with a health bonus, and she starts out at 1378. So that is the Lemurians from the jungle. Then we come back to these guys, the Nordheimers. Now the Nordheimers, or heirs of the north as they're actually known, are found all around this area, all in this green area known as the Highlands. Typically up here, especially there are a few tier 4s that you can get from here. There's 2 archers that we have mentioned in previous videos. I'll link those at the end of this one so you can go check them out. And there is a guaranteed fighter who also spawns in the Highlands as well. Well, one guaranteed one, there are a few, but there is one who's always guaranteed. We'll mention him at the end of this video as well, but this is the armour they will typically be wearing, and their main sort of HQ or base, if you will, or camp is here at New Azagoth. We'll take a look there at the end of this video also. But our fighter 1 comes with 3 in strength, 0 agility, 2 in vitality, 0 grit, and they come out with 1029 health, and again can be male and female. Same with our level 2, 7 strength, 0 agility, 3 vitality, 0 grit, and 1168 health, so a bit more HP. And then our 3, once again can be male and female, 15 in strength, 0 agility, 7 vitality and 0 grit, and a base health of 1480. So that is the Nordheimers. As I say, I'll take you to New Azagoth when we finish, just so you know where that is. But there are also little camps up there as well that have lots of these guys in it also. As I say, there are a few people you could choose from the tier 4 variety, but just for this one I picked a fan favourite, and I've got to be honest, one of my favourites, Miss Freya. And as you can see, she's in the veneer armour, and she'll typically be found like this. This is how she will look. She'll spawn in this armour, and she spawns up in the Highlands, and she spawns right over here at Freya's Hovel, which is just kind of southeast of the Great Dam, which is here. There is also a male named fighter called Leon, who spawns here at Leon's Watch. Again, he's mentioned in the Freya's Friends video that I just recently did, so check that one out if you want to know a bit more about him. And that's where Freya spawns, so she is an archer, but she can typically also be really good as a fighter, as she comes off the Wheel of Friendship with 30 in strength, 0 agility, 10 vitality and 5 grit, and a base health of 1938. There is also another archer that spawns not too far from Freya, sort of in this bottom square of G10 below the Great Dam, called Dina Master Huntress, and she's pretty much a similar one to Freya again. Again, check out my Freya's Friends video, she's featured in that one also as Leonis. So that is the Nordheimers, aka the Heirs of the North. And then our final one, just for anyone that is interested, these guys are the votaries, or votaries I believe you pronounce it, and they can be found in the volcano. There are various T4 fighters and archers that can be found in the volcano. Just chose this guy so that you can see, because I have heard that he is a fan favourite of a lot of people, Spinus the Marauder, and I believe I've pronounced his name correctly. And you can see he comes with 15 in strength, 2 agility, 10 vitality and 3 grit, and a base health of 1838. And most of these are wearing the Skelos Cultist armour. So that is him. This is the tier 1, who come with 1 in strength, 0 agility, 1 vitality, 0 grit, and a base health of 1221. Male and female once again. Your tier 2s are 3 in strength, 0 agility, 3 vitality, 0 grit once again, but a bit more health, 1405. And then of course your tier 3 with your 7 in strength, 0 agility, 7 vitality, 0 grit and 1667. So another possible good choice for a tier 3, and these are the highest tier of thralls as they're called in the game. The votaries from the volcano, they're your top tier, and then you get to your lower tier, and your very lowest tier are your exiles, who spawn along New River, and then the higher up the map you go, the higher the tier of followers. So that is the votaries from the volcano. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you. Hopefully we didn't go too much into detail with a lot of things. We don't want to cover absolutely everything with all of them and all their damage modifiers because it would just make these videos too long. But I just hope it gives enough information for people. But before we go, as I mentioned previously, we looked at the relic hunters and then we saw a relic hunter treasure seeker who I showed in the last video. And just to show you again, we've got the archer and the fighter, and just to recap, the relic hunter treasure seekers all come with 0 in strength, 20 in agility, 10 vitality and 15 grit, and a base health of 1763. They were nerfed quite a bit in the Age of War update, so they're probably not as great as they used to be, but they are still pretty decent. Angar also recommends them still, and I kind of do, because they are great as you're progressing up the map, as your sort of middle to almost end game follower. If you can get them leveled up nice with a nice bit of vitality and some strength or agility, depending on which way you go with them, they are better really with agility, so try and give them a katana ideally. That's a great setup for them. Agility seems to be the way these guys and girls work the best, and these will certainly help you then look at getting your Leon or your Freya or your Delincia or even your Sumerian Berserker. So that's the Relic Hunters. Speaking of the Sumerian Berserker, we go back to the Mounds of the Dead once again, and these can come in male and female. They have a spawn location just to the northeast at the Mounds of the Dead, which I'll show you at the end of this video. They are a guaranteed spawn, and it will either be a male or female, and they come with 15 in strength, 0 agility, 30 vitality and 0 grit, and a base health of 2629, which is a bit less than they used to do, but they're still one of the top tier fighters in my opinion. And if you team them up, if you run the war party with another Berserker or even a Delincia, you've got a pretty good force to be reckoned with. And just for funsies or interest, if anybody would like to know, this is Leon. As I say, spawns at Leon's watch, and he comes with a massive 30 in his strength, 0 agility, 10 in his vitality, 5 in his grit, and a base health of 2087. Still a pretty decent fighter, especially if you buff him up in strength and vitality. He can be pretty good with Delincia or even Freya or even Dina Master Huntress or a Berserker, even though why not have 2 Leons? Why not? So those are just some extras, and now like I say, we'll quickly nip around to the different areas and show you sort of the main area where these different factions can spawn. Okay, so this is one of the areas within the jungle that you can come to find some different Lemurians. You've got your sorcerers that spawn here, a couple of entertainers and some different crafters. Also you've got the priestess there behind me that you can speak to learn the Deketo religion. And you can see on the map that we are just here at the Pagoda of Boundless Lust. So if you're interested, that's just down here, but the Lemurians can be found typically all around this lower jungle area and all at the top area. Apart from more so when you get to here, you kind of run into the Black Hand Pirates faction, sort of all around there, but typically the Lemurians are all around here, and you've got like Palace of the Witch Queen dungeon also, so this is where you can come for Lemurians. Okay, so this is our next location. Bear in mind these guys are not attacking me because I am cloaked and in god mode for this video, but this is New Azagarth, which is here on the map as you can see, just up in the sort of middle of the highlands, and you can get a lot of your Nordheimers from here and your Heirs of the North. Just be mindful when you come in this main entrance, there are enemies all upside there, lots of them in here. Try bringing a bow ideally and kite different enemies out 1 or 2 at a time, because if you rush in here the temptation is just to run right into the middle there, but trust me, even if you get here and you've not got a really good throw with you, friend, or you're not very well kitted out, you will easily get overrun here, and these guys can hit pretty hard if you're not prepared. But there are various huts and things in here where you can loot different chests, etc., and get all sorts of different pieces. You can get your fighters, archers, there are entertainers in here, and various crafters, as I say. And there is also, if we run around here, there is a spot where you can get your priest from. So if you're after the Ymir priest, he or she can spawn here, but be warned, there is also a non-friendable NPC that can spawn here called Ladagara, daughter of Ymir. She hits really hard and has a lot of health, and she could potentially one-shot you if you're in basic armor, so be very, very careful if she spawned, and she will aggro as well, so just be prepared. But that's where you can get your Ymir priest, and as I say, there's all different fighters and archers and your various crafters in here, including a dancer. Okay, so this is our location for the Cimmerians. As I say, they are up here in the Mounds of the Dead, and just in the centre of the water there is a campfire, as you can see, that has an NPC called Braga that you can talk to, and he'll give you a bit of story about why he's here and what's going on with the Cimmerians. But if you come around here, you can kind of see where I am on the map, just here to the right, in this little sort of gully, if you will. If you come around to the right here, wandering around in this area here, you can see we have the Cimmerian Berserker, and this can be male or female, and it's guaranteed it will always be a Berserker. They kind of wander up that way a little bit, all around here, and slightly down that way. Be wary here, because if they get close enough, there are a couple of wights, so the skeletons like over there, sometimes if they're wandering this way near enough and the Berserker spots them, they will go up and fight them, and very occasionally the Berserker can end up, believe it or not, dying to one of these guys, which is a bit of a pain, but it can happen. But typically the Berserker will beat them, and then they'll run back down here and reset to kind of where he is now, and then wander in this area. So that is your guaranteed Berserker. If we come back out here as if we're heading back to the main area, and if I just fly up a moment just so that you can see, just over there in front of me where I'm looking, the purpley looking thing with the smoke around, that is your obelisk where you can teleport into. If you've unlocked it and you're using the map room mode, that's where it is. If you need to unlock it, kind of just over here on this bottom left side. This bit here is what a lot of people, especially content creators, refer to as Death Central or Nightmare Hill, because as you can see up here, you would run up the ramp here, and if you were coming up here, you'd be faced with a fighter 3 of some sort, male or female, a bearer of a varying different level, another fighter possibly there, another one here, and also sometimes, unless they've now changed it or somebody's taken them recently, there's usually a taskmaster here as well. But for some reason that taskmaster isn't there now. It used to be a bearer, and then there was a fighter, and there was a taskmaster always stood here unless it's been changed. And this spawn here can again be a fighter, but it can also be Delincia. She can also spawn there as well, so keep an eye out for a sat there. And in these various huts you can get your different crafters, so your cooks, blacksmiths, carpenters, all the different ones. And there are wandering spawns like here, that can sometimes be Delincia, just as he is there. I've seen her spawn here. And all these different pathways take you to various different areas within the Mounds of the Dead, but as I say, be very careful up here. Come with plenty of healing and a decent weapon and decent armour, and a decent follower, because these guys do hit pretty hard. And we can even go this way, and if we take a look up here, so yeah, that is where you would come to. Try and kite them down one by one, because if that lot all rush you at once, you're going to know about it. So then what we can do is go off this way, keeping an eye out at the same time, because as I say, Delincia can also wander around here as well. And I think Angar did it one time a while back. He was looking for her here, and as he got here, he looked up that ramp, I think it was, and she came walking down that ramp as he said it, almost as if it was arranged, but there's no way you can arrange it. You come up here, as I say, in these various different huts. There are your different crafters, blacksmiths, carpenters, etc. And there are fighters that wander around. And also a Sumerian berserker can be up here at times, but you're best off with the guaranteed spot down the bottom. And as I say, keep an eye out, because Delincia can spawn in this wandering spawn area as well, which can make her a bit harder to capture because she is wandering. And I can't remember the exact spot, but it's just about up here somewhere, I think, in the edge of this snow part here. Stargazer's Crest, I believe it's called, just up north slightly there. She can spawn up there also. Or if you have any of the ancient obelisk coins left that you happen to be spending, or you're still doing the way that you can get the obelisk coin, you can still purchase her potentially, if it gives you Delincia, from the merchants at Mechmos' Spire. But you're probably best off trying to see if she's spawned up here at the moment. Right, for then our final location, or the final tribe if you want to call them that, the votaries, or the people from the volcano. You'll notice there are different people, like a devotee, who are similar to the prisoners from Sepumru. They have quite low health, but you've also got your different sorcerers, fighters. Everybody's a good spawn location here for a few different people. These could all be different ones, and there are all sorts of spots all around the volcano with various different spawns. And just so you see where we are, if you get the XP challenge to visit the Shrine of the Oracle, that is this here, so you should get it when you get onto here. You can also talk to this guy as well. He'll give you a bit more sort of story and lore based type of stuff from the game. But this is where you come to get your sort of very top tier archers and fighters from. Spinus the Marauder can spawn in here at various different locations, and other named people, and also a lot of very good crafters, and their health for all of these will be one of the highest. Just for reference, on the map in the volcano, you can see where we are on the map there, just over here to the right at the Shrine of the Oracle. So you could make your way in at one of the various entrances, and you get over here just to the right. Then, just for reference, if anybody wants to know, if you want to learn to craft the Skelos Cultist armor, or the Skelos Cultist Master armor, then if you're coming in from the very bottom of the volcano and you come up this way up to the Shrine of the Oracle, or you come up from the other stage, you need to come around the other way. If you come over to the side here, you'll notice just on the floor there's a book. Interact with the book, and as you can see, that will teach you the Skelos Cultist armor. Well, alright then my friends, that is just about going to do it for this episode. That is another one wrapped up. That is episode 2, looking at some more of the different, fairly easy to get, should we say, tribes and different fighters of different levels, and also some of the named people that can spawn within those tribes. So I hope you found this useful, hope you found it helpful. If you did, let me know in the comments down below, leave your questions down there as well, let me know how I'm doing, and if you did enjoy this, hit the like button, help share it out to more people, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you if you have. We're almost there with our goal of 500, a little bit to go, but we're We're almost looking on target for our 500 subs by September, so thank you for joining if you have. And that's about it from me for this one. Until episode 3, where we'll kind of wrap everything up and I'll give you my possible top 5 NPCs to look for in the game. I'll give you that in episode 3, where we'll kind of culminate everything all together. So until I see you in episode 3, we shall say goodbye. Alright then, my friends,